Now, another car that we looked at while Tony was out on that visit was up at the Brothers Museum. Remember, we looked at the Reynolds 71 Cuda. That same day, we looked at a couple of cars. One of them was the Rapid Transit Duster. You've done a lot more research or know more. I think it's a fantastic car. I think it's just so cool. And you were very good friends with Steve Giuliano. You guys were best friends, right? So you got to see this car when it was at his garage and all that.
His house. Well, he had a 7-car garage under his house in New York.
Oh, wow.
So he had the cars were there before he put his museum up in California. But I was involved with him during the restoration of this, helped him whatever parts he needed that I could help with.
Who did the resto on this?
Roger
Gibson.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It is, without a doubt, one of the neatest pieces of Mopar history that's still around today, that we still have a lot of interesting information on, as well as some really cool backstory stuff.
You know, and this was, so out of the realm because it's not like restoring a car like the Cuda we looked at,
When they had to have this done, it was for the New York Auto Show.
Originally, yes.
Originally, because it was done in 70 for the Rapid Transit System.
Late 69 for the 70 model year.
But then it was redone in 71.
Yep.
And that was to make the Rapid Transit support the
Well,
Rapid
for the 71
Transit,
cars.
which was a mobile caravan. That was the whole point of it. It was a mobile car show.
Right, and what it was, this wasn't stuff that was brought to the new car shows as much as it was brought around to the dealerships. Like you could pay, like I had to order forms because I have some of the original posters for the Rapid Transit Caravan. Come see at our dealership, and they would have come with a tractor trailer, all lettered up, cool and all, and it would have the 3 cars, the Duster, the Cuda, and the Roadrunner. So there were actually 4 cars total made because the Roadrunner changed so much from 70 to 71,
right?
Whereas the Cuda and the Duster just got an upgrade from 70 to 71. So this was red for 1970.
In 70, the original car was done in red. And who did the original car?
The car was designed by Harry Bradley, and he had to design it from design drawings of what the Duster was.
Because the Duster wasn't done.
Because it wasn't done at that time. Harry Bradley had to design the car without even having a real Duster in front of him. He only had the design studio drawings of the Duster. So then he had to draw up some modifications that he wanted to have done to the car, and Chrysler signed off on. Then they sent it off to Byron Grenfell, and he did all the custom work to the car.
I got you.
Yeah, but he got the word that he had to do this on October 13th, 69, and it had to be ready for, I think, November 21st for the car show.
So 5 weeks. 5 weeks to build a car that hadn't been built yet.
Well, to customize the car.
Like so they gave him a shell that was
they gave him a 340 Duster.
But you said the 340 Dusters weren't out yet. He didn't have one to look at.
No. Well, the guy before that had to design it, Harry Bradley, he didn't have the car.
Okay.
But obviously by October, the Dusters were out.
As I look at the car, it reminds me so much of something George Barris would do. Everybody knows Barris. I mean, he's the guy that did the Batmobile and he did the Munster car. This car has a lot of that influence in it with the customizing, the type of customizing. And part of it was the 60s and the 70s, and that was the customizing of the day. When they customized this hood, the peak in the middle, right? And the bullnose on the front, whatever that crazy thing is, that's all lead?
Yeah, heavy lead.
Legitimate lead.
I remember with Steve lifting the hood up.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, I tried to lift it up and it was super heavy.
Very heavy.
I bet the hood weighs 200 or 300 pounds.
Easy.
Of the days of lightweight cars that had aluminum front ends on them or were acid dipped, this is the opposite. This is 10 times the weight of the factory hood. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I looked over the car pretty good last time, and I really appreciated a lot of the things I saw. The interior is mostly original, but it has the tack up there on the dash. And the things I really wanted you to kind of point out was you talked about the floral pattern floor mats that are in there.
Patternique, yeah.
Patternique, okay.
They were original. You could order them from the dealer.
You could get them from the dealer.
Right.
All right. And also the gas caps. The gas caps originally are Shelby Cobra?
Yep.
Shelby Cobra gas caps. They used it on this. The one on the right-hand side is fake.
It's a dummy.
Goes right into the trunk.
Yep.
So if you wanted to fill your trunk up with fuel, you could do that.
You wanted to.
And the scoops in the front are supposedly scoops that would function to cool the brakes.
To cool the brakes, yep.
The motor and everything's stock.
Yeah, on any of the show cars, they never did anything under the hood
because they weren't planning on showing them under the hood, right?
Same thing with the interiors. They never really did much with the addition of some gauges in the interiors.
So if you go over this whole car, what one feature that's custom? Is there one particular one that you think, gosh, that was neat, I'm glad they did it? I know there was a lot of work went into the bumpers.
Paint. It's the paint. It's just, you know, the paint does it. Because, you know, at first, it's not that much different looking than a regular Duster, but then you start looking and you see that it is.
Looks like a regular Duster? In what world? The car's completely modified. It's got louvers across the back window. It's got a flare on it. The hood weighs 1,000 pounds, made out of lead. Everything that can be custom on this car. It doesn't even have door handles on it. In what world is that a regular Duster? I mean, no offense, Tony, but that dog don't hunt. I think the louvers across the back window, I think just a neat feature, right? It just looks cool. I know they're not functional, but it just looks super cool.
I think the 70 may have had a little spoiler. 70 version may have had
I
a
think
spoiler.
you're right.
And
I think they did rework that.
Yeah.
Because the only changes really from the 70 to 71 were body and paint.
No.
Or was this peak done in 70?
The grill area was customized differently.
For 71?
Yeah, the tips were customized, the rear body pan area.
But I just want to clarify, different from the 70?
Different from the 70, yeah.
All right, I got you.
So this is really, they say a car is a 1 of 1. This is 3 of 1. It was a 70 Duster, 340. Then it became the 70 Rapid Transit Duster. Then it became the 71 Rapid Transit Duster. For 1970, it was red. At the end of the 70 model year run, they sent it back to Byron Gertfeld, and he ended up modifying the car again and painting it green this time, as you see it today, for the 71 circuit, because it was brought around to the dealerships again in 71. The same CUDA used from 70 was shown again in 71. It's funny, because that was the opposite. That was greenish, had a lot of green on it in 1970, and the 71 version was red. Of course, they couldn't do that with the Roadrunner because the bodies changed dramatically.
That car in a couple of the pictures had side pipes on it. Those were not part of the Rapid Transit. If you go back and look at the original footage from the Rapid Transit Caravan, they didn't have those. Somebody added them. I think they look great. And maybe they were on it when Steve Giuliano got the car, but they weren't supposed to be on there. Not according to the pictures that we've seen and the call-out sheet for the Rapid Transit car itself. It didn't have side pipes. So when Steve had it restored, he had those removed, which is proper to do the car exactly the way it would have been for the 1971 show circuit. Where's the word wedge across here?
Well, it would be in the straight part of the 4.
Oh yeah, no, it goes across here, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, it'd be right here. It'd say 340 and then wedge.
Oh, it does call it out down through there originally?
And it was supposed to be in there, but he forgot.
Oh. See, this is what I mean. He can't wait to correct me. He's insane. I pointed to the exact same area and said it called out wedge. And no, that's not right. And he points to the same area in my same dusty fingerprints and says it goes there. Because he can't wait. Maybe I was off a millimeter, but he can't see it with those great big owl eyes. There's no way. There's a new series on Investigation Discovery called How to Identify a Psychopath, I think it is. And it pretty much covers all of Tony's routine in every episode.
Yeah, realistic, not negative.
The car doesn't run as good when it's retarded. Hopefully you're working on it as exponentially as you're on this.
Who's going to be painted? Is it going to be you or is it what?
Here we go again with another liberty I took.
Every single episode. Well, he did have 3 weeks, 4 weeks to do it.
No, this is the second time around.
So who had more time, the 70 customizer or the 71 customizer?
They're the same guy. The same guy customized the cars, but then there was the designer of the car. The designer guy was Harry Bradley.
Okay.
He's the one that had to go by drawings.
Got it.
And then when he got the approval from Chrysler to go ahead and build it, then Byron, that customized the car, only had 5 weeks.
Gotcha.
And he didn't, like I said, there was no really interior mods, no under hood mods. All they do under the hood, as far as I know, with all the Rapid Transit or show cars, they just spray it black. Like, sort of not even the neatest, they just spray it black.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is something very, very few people know anything about. This is investigation discovery stuff. So Giuliano, when he got the car, I know that it was in a parking garage. It took him forever to talk the guys into selling it from the parking garage.
Well, it was how he found the car. And I want to say this as tribute to Steve. He was tenacious. He just wouldn't give up. He wanted to find these cars. He put ads all over national newspapers and hot rod magazines and stuff. Somebody responded to him and says, hey, I know where that car is you're looking for. It's in a parking garage in Detroit. And Steve doesn't let any grass grow under his feet. He flew right out to Detroit.
And when he got the car home, he opened up the trunk.
Well, the biggest thing in there was an air conditioner. That's why it was sitting low in the back when he got it. He thought the springs broke.
Like a house, like a window rattler air conditioner?
And after that, there was a leopard skin rug, a bloody machete, and some women's undergarments
In the trunk.
in the trunk.
A bloody machete. Hollywood prop stuff or real blood?
He cleaned it off and didn't want to know,
No idea why it was in there?
No, the car was left for dead in the early 80s. So it was set there over 10, 13 years.
Well, it turns out the mysterious machete and panties and the leopard print is all still in the trunk. Bingo! You know, you hit that last letter, bingo, B6. I don't know. What's the code for squirrel cover? It wasn't, guy's name wasn't Jason that had the car.
It's unknown. Maybe he'll show up now that he sees it on TV.
Here's the difference between a sense of humor and not a sense of humor. I got a sense of humor, right? Tony really thinks that Freaky Jason from Friday the 13th is gonna come out and find out, watch the episode. Okay, Jason's got a lot going on. I don't think he's gonna be watching Graveyard Carz unless perhaps it was on Friday night, I don't know. But he's not gonna come out and check out the car afterwards with the hockey mask and everything and say, yeah, that's where I left my machete. I couldn't figure it out. Come on, man, it's Freaky Jason.
I think that's a good way just to end it at that.
Hello ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!